If you had an idea or a skill and you wanted to sell it online to real people, make real money and make more money than you would in like your typical 9-to-5 job, you'd probably jump at the opportunity. But then there's a problem for a lot of people. They don't know a lot about business. So they think, in order to do that, what I've got to do is go get a big, expensive business degree. The good news is you don't need one. And I'm going to explain why that is, what's more effective, and how to do it. Let's go. Think about this. You've got two people. One person has just spent the last 2 years in a top MBA program. The next person has been building online and getting their business going for the last 2 years. Same amount of time. We bet who is going to get to $1 million in sales fastest. Who would your money be on? My money? My money is on the person that's been building online, and here's why. I'm not going to beat up on MBAs. I've got an MBA. I did my executive MBA at a top 50 IMBA school, and I got great connections out of it. I got a lot of knowledge out of it. I got good friendships. I don't regret the experience in any way, shape, or form, right? So I'm not here to beat up on MBAs. What I'm saying is my money would be on the person that has been building online for the past 2 years, and it's because I've gotten my MBA. And I've also spent years building online. I can tell you firsthand that there are just a lot of things that an MBA will not prepare you for when you are building a business. An MBA will prepare you to manage a business. An MBA will help you lead a business, an established business. But in terms of building from the ground up, scratch, entrepreneurship, the experience of an MBA doesn't even compare the first couple of years of experience that you are going to have when you are actually building a business online. While there's a lot that an MBA will teach you, what it won't teach you is how do you determine what your North Star is, right? Like how do you determine what exactly that you're building? How do you determine what is the business model that you're going to use? What is the destination of the business that you're creating? How do you get clarity on what your offer is going to be, what your services are going to be? I went to a top school, and you know what? I walked out, didn't have a clue about creating offers. Like I knew a lot about sales, about marketing, about leadership, about culture building. And when I started consulting, when I started selling those expertise, I had not a clue how to put them together in a package or in a product or into an offer and actually sell it to a market. I learned a lot about using regression to analyze markets and to understand your TAM, things that are worthwhile, things that are relevant in business. What I didn't learn was how to build a funnel, right? How do I go get leads? How do I get them into my ecosystem? And then how do I nurture them through the client journey or through the customer journey from cold prospect to warm prospect to actual paying client to raving fan? Which marketing assets and which messages need to go to which people and which audience? How am I going to go get traffic? How am I going to generate leads? How am I going to create interest? How am I going to get the attention? I didn't learn that. I didn't learn how to build a sales process, right? So you've got your leads. Cool. You've got your funnel. Now they're making their way through the bottom of the funnel. How are you going to sell them? What are you going to say on the call? What do you send them before the call? What do you do when somebody's ghosting you? At what point do you determine that someone is ghosting you? Those are things that I never learned with my MBA. I never learned how to get ruthless with my time, right? Like as I've had to do as an entrepreneur, I've had to really figure out how do I get ruthless? Like the margin of error can be really small. I didn't learn how to differentiate between which fires you've got to let burn, right? Because when you're building a business, there's no way to address all of the problems in the business. You've got to look at all the problems in the business and say, cool, we're focused on this one. We're letting all the other fires burn. Triaging problems and understanding the priority and what's urgent versus what's urgent and important, right? Like if you don't tackle those things in the right order, you're screwed early stage, right? Like success is literally in the sequence, and that sequence isn't taught in business school. It is taught on the battlegrounds of building businesses. The benefits of building online are incredible, are enormous. I mean, one big difference is I paid $125,000 for my MBA. I got paid that and a lot more to learn what I did building online. Both of them taught me a lot. Both of them were great educations. And frankly, both of them I've been able to expand my network, develop great relationships. I don't regret getting the MBA. But when you were building online, you were forced to learn some things through trial and error, right? Like there is no final on an exam. There is no homework along the way. Like every single step is a data point, and it is just it is just a process of iteration and continuous learning and continuous development. Trial by fire. What works? What doesn't? What's necessary? How are you going to get from point A to point B? You've got to learn, how am I going to niche down? How am I going to create my offers? How am I going to create my funnels? How am I going to generate leads? How am I going to create a sales process? Those are things that you do not have a choice but to learn, or your business will die. But the cool thing is, when you learn that skill, you are learning a skill that creates the ability to be independent, the ability to generate income from wherever you want, to make choices about who you work with, to make choices about what kind of business you're going to build. And that is the real freedom that you can unlock with the business that you own versus a business that you manage. Hope this has been helpful. If it has been, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more business tips. Adios.